Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button. Share this video out to all of your followers. And let's get it cracking, all right? So I didn't even plan. Actually, I did kind of loosely plan on doing a live stream tonight. But the content that I had planned on talking about, it took a slight detour. You know what I'm saying? It took a slight detour. Some recent events caused me to have to put the focus on some other topics. So we'll get into that as we get into the stream. And real quick, I just want to greet everybody that is in the room. Shout out to all 18 people that are in here. Please make sure you guys smash that like button and also share the video out. If you're not subscribed, don't be scared. I've never seen that bell hurt anybody. All right. And I hopefully, don't see that ever happen. So hit that bell. All right. Smash that like button. Want to give a shout out to my man Mike Mellis John in the building. We got Janesta Cole up in here. We got Atalia Phillips in the building. We got Mimi McCoy. We got my man Carlton Way. We got my man Mike Jeff. We got Jarrett Allen in the building. What up with it, Jarrett? We got DSB. What's good with it, DSB? We got Mimi. We got a new subscriber off the rip, Lemon Lucas. Shout out to Lemon Lucas. You know what I'm saying? We got Tasha Porters in the building. And we got Mr. Knock up in here, all right? So actually what I'm going to talk about tonight is the casualties of war, all right? The casualties of war. And as you guys see, I got your boy Mark Dice on the thumbnail. And the reason I got Mark Dice on the thumbnail is because Torian Rain, shout out to my man Torian Rain, he actually reacted to the live stream that I did about Mark Dice's video, quote unquote, the quote unquote war on white people. And what I said on this video is that when it comes to white people physically harming other white people, no one's waging a war on white people other than other white people. Even if you listen to the mainstream media, even if you listen to the conservative pundits, they'll say people of color, they'll say black, they'll say this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, once you get down to the root of the problem, is always white people causing harm to other white people. So why people like Mark Dice say things like there's a war on white people and then put a bunch of black hands pointing at his face as if anybody cares about him, because he's upset by some tweets and because he's upset by some TikToks, is beyond me. Now, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of people like Mark Dice really, really liked Donald Trump as president. And one of the things that they touted about Donald Trump as president is his quote unquote mean tweets, right? So if we foster a culture of mean social media, when that mean social media is pointed back at you, don't sit there and cope because you don't like it. Sit there and take a bite out of a plutonium bar and realize that the world is correct. All right. So you guys see my man Torian Rain right there. Shout out to my man Torian Rain. Johnny Gibbs. Everybody drop some radiation emoji. We got another new subscriber. Got my man Johnny Gibbs in the building. Welcome. You know what I'm saying? Glad to have you here, bro. Torian says, Blacklight, what up? They trolled the hell out of that Mark Dice video. Yeah, I see. You know what I'm saying? I got time. You know what I'm saying? It's the it's the weekend where I have time. You know what I'm saying? And on these weekends here, this is where you see me being extremely petty on YouTube, especially in the comment sections. You know what I'm saying? But that was a great video that Torian did. What I find interesting, what you guys should do is you guys should actually watch that video, all right? And then what you should do is read the comment section. Read the comment section, because the comment section in Torian's video is actually very revealing, all right? What it reveals is that there actually is no anti-white sentiment. There's even people in his comment section actually talking about separate. We must separate. We must separate. We must separate. Oh, you must separate. What are you talking about? Before Martin Luther King, shout out to Martin Luther King, rest in power. Before Martin Luther King was about integration, man, let's not talk about how many You know, British flags are all over the world, still integrated into the flags of the current countries today. Now, if that ain't integration, I don't know what is. A different type of integration than what the great MLK was talking about, of course, but it's integration nonetheless. And if I'm not mistaken, if you go to every single country, every place on the world, well, what you will see is an indigenous population, in most cases, of Black people or Asians, intermixed with a controlling population of Europeans. But these are the people that claim that they want to separate. I mean, it's not that hard. Go back where you came from then, right? Now, see, Italia says we do need to separate. I try to be very liberal, and you guys know that. And me personally, the ideal situation would be if people could get along and people could see the, goodness in each other, you know what I'm saying? And everybody account for the issues that we all have. But unfortunately, that's not the situation that we have. The situation that we have is a world ruled by a culture of degeneracy. And those people are so fragile about their culture that they try to project it onto everybody else. Question: what does black on black crime mean? Somebody just give me a definition of black on black crime. What is the mainstream media definition of black on black crime? What is the talking point definition of black on black crime? These people don't want to separate. These people want to be around other people, especially Black people. There's more integration of Europeans into Africa than there is of Europeans into any other country. You know what I'm saying? Recently, in recent history. So then when you say, well, if you don't like it, go back where you come from. Then they say, well, there's all kinds of resources in Africa that were not being exploited. Keyword, not being exploited. You know what I'm saying? So they already know what they was going over there for, right? But the key word is to not be is not being exploited. So quote unquote, don't get mad that we came over there. Okay. Well, don't get mad that you're integrated then. I mean, you can't go squat on somebody else's house or somebody else's property and then be mad when you want to go use the bathroom and there's somebody on the toilet taking a shit. That's the cost of squatting. You know what I'm saying? Mimi says the definition of black on black crime is Black people hurting, robbing, and killing each other. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. How many people knows what familicide is? Oh, you already know. Flame on like Johnny Storm. You already know, bro. I'm about to leave these people with a fantastic sore. What is familicide? I don't know if you guys have caught a couple of the videos that I've done, but I've done a couple videos about familicide. And one thing that familicide is something that you will find a lot of content about on the Blacklight Revelations network, but it's not something that you will find the mainstream media talking about. Mimi McCoy says when you kill your whole family. Now, if we account for the interracial families, right? Because there's a lot of, interracial families here in the United States, and this is nothing, against them, all right? Black men with white women, white men with Black women, all right? Aside from those, right? Because those are a minority. If we're talking about the majority, most families, right, are of the same race in most cases, right? We could make that assumption, correct? There's the outliers where there's a blended or interracial family, but in most cases, most families usually make up the same racial composition. Usually most families are wholly quote unquote Asian. Most families are wholly quote unquote, Black. Most families are wholly quote unquote white, right? Shout out to Faith and Light. What up with it? Shout out to Mimi. Shout out to Deneen. What up with it? Right? So if you commit familicide, in most cases, you would be committing quote unquote race on race crime, right? Now, remember, this is the United States. And, one thing that we don't want to talk about is Chicago. I don't know why we don't want to talk about Chicago, but for some reason, white conservatives always say what they don't want to talk about is Chicago. Shout out to Twister, Speeding Out Mafia, The Brat, Crucial Conflict, JoJo Capone, and all the great rappers from Chicago. Chief Keef, you know what I'm saying? I could talk about Chicago all day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if we talk about Chicago, one of the things we have to start our conversation with is Al Capone, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? St. Valentine's Day Massacre, I think, is still there today. Everybody's so concerned about what's going on today. The St. Valentine's Massacre, I think there's a restaurant there that still has the door with the bullet holes today, right? Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Chief Keef. That's that shit I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Torian said, I found it interesting that they said the Mark Dice video would be the video I would get the most views from, yet my most watched video on my channel today is at almost 5K views. Yeah, right. I think that one video that you did about the one guy that lied and said that he was everybody, the dude that was the Republican dude that was playing Catch Me If You Can. He said that he was a sombrerito. Then he said all kinds of other stuff, that he worked for like some bankers or something like that. That video is doing real good. That's like over 100,000 views. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Torian for that video. You know what I'm saying? That Mark Dice, as long as people keep going back and forth in the comment section, and if it's on the weekend, you know what I'm saying? Your boy got time. I'll be in there. I'll be in there for sure. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you got your snorkel on, because there's gonna be a lot of tears in there. You know what I'm saying? But familicide is something that the mainstream media doesn't talk about. Now, I'm curious. I want to know what you guys think. Why do you guys think that the mainstream media doesn't cover familicide? Who commits familicide? We're going to see. We're going to see. And there's a couple other different kind of crimes that the mainstream media doesn't concentrate on either. Matter of fact, when it comes to violence against families in most capacities, right? We just saw violence against the family. We just saw violence against the Dana White family. Those two fighting each other like gladiators in open air in another country, making Americans look great. Oh man, they coping. They're in the comment section coping. You know what they're in the comment section finding out? They're in the comment section finding out that the world is correct. That shit don't taste good. Got a little bit too much seasoning on it. You know what I'm saying? I like garlic salt. You know what I'm saying? I like garlic salt. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of Parmesan cheese. You know what I'm saying? So they probably ain't feeling that too much. Oh, well. Oh, well. How many people have been the casualty of good eating? You know what I'm saying? It won't hurt to get some more. So now here it says a familicide is a type of murder or murder-suicide in which one kills multiple close family members in quick succession, most often children, spouses, siblings, or parents. Now, when it comes to the quote-unquote black-on-black crimes that you see on TV, how often do you see something that resembles this definition of familicide? How often do you see it? Do you see it a lot, or do you see it a little? I see it a lot, but not when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, the gang violence or the crimes that they try to perpetrate on us. But when it comes to familicide, man, the familicide perpetrators are heavily represented in one group, and it's not us. And now, if you see familicide occurring and it's heavily represented in one group, then you got to ask yourself the question, why is the mainstream media perpetuating the narrative of quote-unquote black-on-black crime? Why do they do that? Why do they do that? Here's a question, right? If we're going to talk about family planning, quote unquote, right? Because there's this whole thing about family planning. Family planning must clearly be disproportionately not helping some people, because in some people's case, I'm hoping that the family planning doesn't mean you're planning to bury your family somewhere, because that's what we see. That's what we see. So now I really wish that those trolls from Torian's video would come in here and explain to me if the group of people that's committing familicide at the highest rate allegedly has a war going on against them. Then my question is, well, if we're talking about physical casualties and harm coming against you, then why is it that you're offing your own families and other groups of people aren't taking your families out as a whole? You see, when it came to when America was first formed, they were taking out families of Black people. They were taking out families of indigenous people. Now they taking out their own families. Torian said if you put Mark Dice's name in the title, you would have them trolling right now. That's hilarious. I put his face on the video. You know what I'm saying? I ain't put his name in the title, though. I should have. Maybe I will next time. So now here it says, in half the cases, the killer lastly kills himself in a murder-suicide. Again, how many times do you see this? Yeah, facts. The Black Massacre series is ongoing. Facts. Now, the Black Massacre series is what a war against a certain group of people looks like. That's undeniable. That's irrefutable. There's nothing in the United States or nothing anywhere in the world that resembles, quote unquote, the Black Massacre series. That's something specifically reserved to something that these people here in America, that, as Seiji Hito says, call themselves true Americans, have done to the people here. Another comment, you guys might have seen it posted on my community wall. The guy said, you don't see white people flooding to non-white countries. Are you serious? How do you think Australia, the United States, and South America and Mexico all got populated with the Mestizo people? It didn't start out like that. It started out like that because there was an infection called Manifest Dynasty. And that infection spread all over the world. So I don't know why we would say that. You're literally sitting in a originally non-white country saying that there's no white people that flooded to non-white countries. Like the amount of cope is copious. Copious amounts of cope. You know what I'm saying? If only the parents are killed, the case may also be referred to as parricide. Where all members of the family are killed, the crime may be referred to as a family annihilation. Now, family annihilation is a very interesting term, right? Because that's one of the things that drives the animal instinct of racism is annihilation phobia, right? But if you're actually going around annihilating your own families, and if you do that in a large amount, well, you can do the math, right? If you're annihilating your own families at increasing and exponential rates, it seems to me like we know where the war is. Now, we do content on YouTube and people talk about the gender war, right? And a lot of times, you know, there are actual casualties of the quote unquote gender war. Not like this, though. Not like this. Not quite like what's going on here. Okay. So let's check out the definition and statistics when it comes to family annihilation, right? Because this is one thing that these people supposedly fear. This is one of the reasons why they feel like they want to launch everybody else to another planet, because they think that the Earth is inherently their planet. That's what they mean when they say separate. They basically mean, you know, get off the third rock from the sun. because they can't possibly mean actually separate, because if they wanted to separate, then they would have never came where they are now to begin with. Very simple, right? This isn't like, I don't know, this isn't rocket science, right? This is more like ocean navigation, not rocket science, but ocean navigation, right? Third Rock from the Sun was a good show. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Between 1900 and 2000, there were 909 victims of mass murder in the United States, which is defined as 4 victims in a 24-hour period. Of those, more than half occurred within an immediate family. Not something that the mainstream media talks about very often. It's not something that Juju Chang decided to put her hair in a man bun and talk to Tucker Carlson about now, is it? Nope. Sure isn't. That's okay. Although familicide cases are relatively rare, which I disagree with. This is just something that's being done to cover the fact that these things happen literally every day, every minute, in every single state. They are the most common form of mass killings. Now, get that. They're extremely rare, but they're the most common form of mass killing. How does that work? Somebody explain that to me. How is a familicide rare, but at the same time, it's the most common form of another type of killing? How does that work? You know what? Forks are rare, but they're the most easy kind of silverware to find. Okay. Right. However, statistical data are difficult to establish due to reporting discrepancies. Why would there be reporting discrepancies? I mean, the news reports these things. They don't report them all over the place and blast it on a 24-hour news cycle, but the news definitely reports and keeps an accounting of these kind of things. It's not something that happens in a vacuum. So why are we acting like we don't know what's going on here? Familicide differs from other forms of mass murders in that the murderer kills family members or loved ones rather than anonymous people. So you have to be a special, all right? You have to be an exceptional kind of degenerate to kill your own damn family, right? Right? And that's true, DSB. DSB brings up a good point. The moment our people say separate, here comes the white crowd calling us racist. And they love to use coons to push their message. Facts. Chris Benoit, Chris the Crippler, who actually crippled his entire family. You know what I'm saying? This has a different psychodramatic and psychiatric significance, but the distinction is not always made. Again, so why not? A study of 30 cases in Ohio found that most of the killings were motivated by a parent's desire to stop their children's suffering. So, you know what that means. When they try to rationalize a degenerate crime, what comes next? Oh, what it was we were just being heroes. We didn't want the child to suffer so much. I mean, all you got to do is go get a rent-a-car or a plane ticket, get your ass out of town, and get away from whatever it is that's causing your child to suffer. Now, black people are the worst parents ever. As a matter of fact, black fathers are right next to the brontosaurus in the Natural History Museum because we're non-existent if you listen to the mainstream media. But if we're such horrible parents and black fathers ain't around, then why is this happening where it's happening? And that's the reason why when it comes to Ethan Cromley, when it comes to Peyton Gendron, when it comes to Aiden Fauci, I ask all of these questions all the time. Well, when it comes to that particular culture and the father is in the home, look what seems to happen a lot of time to the child. The child becomes radicalized and offs a bunch of people. You want to sit there and say that we're not in our homes all the time? How many of us are circling the block, killing our families? If that was going on, it would be in the New York Post front page every single day. Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham would be having a field day. If they're not talking about it, then that means that it's not happening. According to an ABC News contributor and former FBI agent, Brad Garrett, now imagine that, right? We call this state-sanctioned media, but laughing about it. But imagine an ABC News contributor being a former FBI agent. It's not like that's something out of the realms of possibility now, is it? You know what I'm saying? People responsible for killing their families tend to be, as Torian would say, PC males in their 30s. So now maybe on that thumbnail, the reason why Mark Dice had all of those black hands pointing at him is because maybe he was trying to give some kind of code speak about who it is that's actually annihilating themselves. It ain't us. So there's that. And then there's this. Irish LGBT city councilor resigns after allegations of abusing a teen boy. Starting to see a little pattern with a particular sector of the LGBT crowd, especially after that disgusting, disturbing, degenerate Triple D story that I did this morning. Looks like we got a little bit of a pattern going on here. On January 1st, a young man shared 2 videos on Twitter accusing Galway City Councilor Owen Hanley of quote-unquote grooming and abusing him starting when he was just 16 years old. What do you guys think about this? Is anybody shocked? That's him right there. Deneen said, not again. Oh, this is all over the United States, Faith and Lighten. All over the United States. On my Crimecast channel, I've got tons of videos talking about this, and I'm so backed up on content, I haven't even had a chance to put out the new videos that I need to be putting out. I'm going to probably put them together and just do a stream because there's so much. Yeah, just nasty. Just nasty. You know what I'm saying? The first openly LGBT city councilor in Galway, Ireland, has resigned amidst allegations that he quote unquote groomed and sexually abused a teenage boy online. So this is similar to the last case because this is, male on male, and it was grooming and done online. All right. So again, this is something that's done. Now, if you're attacking the young males, the young men's sexuality, right? Sounds like war. Sounds like war. And what it sounds like to me is that it sounds like certain people are waging a war on themselves. But again, when you are living in a world where the world has set up a safety blanket where you don't have to be accountable for your own error, then what you get is when you see negative things happening that you don't like, you lash out and start marching and light tiki torches and say, there's a war against us. We will not be replaced. Yeah, you definitely won't be replaced if y'all keep offing off y'all own families. Ain't nobody gonna replace that. So stop offing your own families and maybe you won't get replaced. Might not be a bad idea for the high IQ crowd, the allegedly high IQ crowd. You know what I'm saying? On January 1st, a young man shared 2 videos on Twitter accusing Galway City Councilor Owen Hanley of grooming and abusing him starting when he was just 16 years old. Question. Irish LGBTQ city councilor. Yet and still, in this article post-millennial, I haven't seen one mention of the word woke. Because this is a woke crime. Just like that nasty woke crime that I talked about earlier. But how come they not calling this woke? How come they not calling that one woke? Last time I checked, according to these particular people, not according to us, but according to these particular people, woke allegedly encompasses LGBTQ, right? So why is it that when you see a crime like this take place and then you read the article about it, there's no mention of how woke this crime was? Because this is woke. Yeah, facts. I agree with that, Mike. Looks like the Harry Potter type. So now here it says, I'm a victim of sexual abuse, catfishing, and underage grooming. Owen Hanley did this to me. Mr. Hanley operated a fake Twitter account under the name Irish Jock, using the handle Left Muscle. The victim, who goes by the name Jamie Magoya Bain on Twitter, said in the video, he posed as a teenager and reached out to me on Twitter, knowing who I was from previous engagements in the Social Democrats. Bain went on to describe being coaxed into sending explicit images of himself over a long period, starting just after he turned 16 and going up to February 2022. The young man says that after he discovered Hanley was behind the Twitter account, he confronted the city councilor and presented him with the evidence. Hanley denied the allegations, but immediately after, all traces of the accounts Bain says were operated by the LGBTQ activists were erased on Twitter and his profile pictures were removed. The videos received a large amount of attention in Ireland, and as a result, on January 4th, Hanley announced his resignation from his position representing Galway City East for the Irish Social Democrats. In a statement posted on Facebook, Hanley said, in the past 48 hours, certain allegations have been made about me. These are a very serious matter and will obviously take a considerable length of time to be investigated fully by the appropriate authorities. In these circumstances, I believe that the correct thing for me to do is resign my members of the Galway City Council, he continued. So if he's not guilty of doing this, then why would he do it? Yeah, woke equals black folks, more like Irish. Facts. Facts, more like Irish nerd. Yeah, no doubt. So I thought this was woke, though. Like, notice how when it comes to this particular type of crime, when it's certain groups of LGBTQ people, they won't call it woke. Now, we got to ask these people that decided to repackage the word woke for us like a Christmas present. Why is it that you're not calling this woke? Oh, woke doesn't mean anti-black. You people just bring race into everything. Yeah, us people just bring race into everything. Us people who have never made race-based laws to harm anybody in the world ever. We can literally say that. They can't. But us who have never done that, we didn't repackage the word woke either. So under your repackaged definition of woke, this should fall into the definition of a woke crime. So why isn't the word woke being mentioned here? See, what we got to start doing is, you want to repackage the word woke? Okay, cool. We got to find every instance where woke looks a certain way and repeat that that's woke a million times until they get the hint. According to Redux, Hanley was first elected to the city council. Now, mind you, this guy had a position of power. The other people that I talked about earlier this morning, one of them was a banker and the other one was a government worker. So these are situations where people are in positions of power. They're in positions of power. They don't care. And he made history not only as the quote unquote first openly LGBTQ counselor to be elected, but also the youngest. In 2019, Galway Daily did a profile on the young activist who at the time said he wanted to be a quote unquote role model for members of the LGBTQ community. Yeah, role model. Probably because he wanted to roll around in the mud with some of the other members of the council. You know what I'm saying? Probably what that was about. Shortly after he was elected, Hanley stepped up to defend doctors attempting to perform sex changes on children by attacking an Irish whistleblower who was attempting to warn Ireland's health authorities about the dangers of soon-to-be cloned soon to be closed Tavistock Gender Clinic. So we all know about the Tavistock Institute. All right. So there's that. There's this. I don't think we need to read any more of that, because you guys get the hint. Next, we're going to take a look at this. Now, remember, that's in Ireland. That took place in England, Europe. You know what I'm saying? Great Britain, the UK, right? They want to separate. Now, they'll sit there and blame that on all the people that's not white that's there, say that it's their fault. Something else that's going on, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is in the UK too. A man who is 70 years old was jailed for sex with a child behind a Glasgow supermarket. Question: why would you do that? Why would you do it? Who does it? You're 70 years old and you're taking advantage of a child. You're nasty. Okay? A 70-year-old man who had sex with a 13-year-old girl behind a Glasgow supermarket has been jailed for 5 years. William Melville admitted to engaging in sexual activity with a child. He also pled guilty to sexual assaults on 2 girls aged 4 and 8. Aged 4 and 8. Now, how come you don't hear about these kind of crimes all over the place? Glasgow Sheriff Court heard he went into a container with the girl behind an Aldi store in the city center. He had sex with the girl while ordering her friend to act as a lookout. The court heard that he befriended the pair between May and July of 2021, pretending to know their fathers, and led them to a nearby train station to look after them. He then persuaded the younger of the girls, who was 13, to go into the container, where he then had sex with her. The girl's 15-year-old friend looked away, but was told to let him know if there were people nearby. So this guy got a bunch of different convictions. You guys see all these different convictions right here. This one probably being the most noteworthy. The court also heard that Melville had groped and kissed a 4-year-old girl while telling her a bedtime story at a property in Blantyre, South Lanarkshire, 10 years previous. Okay. Nasty. Nasty. Now, let me ask you guys another question. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, please make sure you guys smash the like button. Also, if you guys have not shared the video to your social media, please make sure you guys share the video. If you look at this and you classify this as a particular kind of crime, what kind of crime does this fall into the category of? Shout out to Black Queen Genius. What up with it? Yeah, that sentence is disrespectful and foul. Facts. Yeah, let's not forget the Zulaks. Facts. West Virginia teenager sentenced to life in prison for deleting 4 family members. Gavin Smith, who is 18, eligible for parole in 15 years due to a West Virginia mercy law. We have mercy. Lord have mercy. You know what I'm saying? Did the Lord have mercy on his family? But when you live in a world where you can do this kind of thing and get away with it, you can't help to cannibalize yourself. Because if there's no justice system that provides justice across the board, all of a sudden, if you happen to get a hair up your ass about the same kind of people as you, and then you guys get into a conflict and y'all start offing each other, the same privilege has to be afforded to you. So that's how you get somebody doing something crazy like this and then get paroled after 15 years after you murked for your own damn family. But There's a war. There's a war out there. Like Prodigy said, there's a war outside that no man is safe from. You can run, but you can't hide forever. Now, they sit here and say that critical race theory is the biggest threat to the kids. I disagree, because critical race theory does not have a body count. How many people has critical race theory killed? How many people has critical race theory been responsible for? Has critical race theory ever inspired anybody to go and commit a violent act against white people? How many white people are hurt physically or dead as a result of anybody in their immediate vicinity engaging in critical race theory? I tell you, 4 people that are dead as a result of familicide, these folk right here. Okay. A teenage boy in West Virginia was sentenced to life in prison on Tuesday for killing his mother, stepfather, and 2 siblings. Gavin Smith, who is 18 years old, received a life prison sentence with mercy. Life in prison with mercy. Life in prison with Lord have mercy. Lord only has mercy for the people you see getting mercy sentences. And those are the same people that told people to go to church. For 3 counts of first-degree murder in Kanawha County Court, meaning that he's eligible for parole in 15 years under West Virginia law. And that was reported by WSAZ-TV in Huntington, West Virginia. Smith was found guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of second-degree murder, and 1 count of using a firearm during the commission of a felony last month for the deaths of Daniel Dale Long, who was 37, Risa Mae Saunders, who was 39, Gage Ripley, who was 12, and Jameson Long, who was 3. A 3-year-old died as a result of this. Yeah, I agree, Torian. This is undoubtedly, undeniably PC on PC crime, but it's not talked about in the mainstream media. Torian says they don't care about their own. Absolutely not. So we can never expect us to be cared about. Which is one of the reasons why I always advise people revisit certain things. You know what I'm saying? Revisit certain things politely. Politely revisit certain things. Politely revisit certain approaches. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. This dude will be out in 15 years to create a family and do the same thing to his family. Smith was found guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder. Now, here's my question. How many black people do you guys think were on the jury? Because what I find fascinating is that they always talk about criminal justice reform, but one thing that I've never heard them talk about is how to get more black people on the jury. Because in most cases, even when it's a crime involving a bunch of black people in a black area, somehow the jury always ends up being predominantly white. Now, if we're trying to improve the justice system isn't just about people getting arrested. It's about the process of justice. And the process of justice includes who all's involved. So a jury is supposed to be a jury of your peers. But for some reason, that part seems to always get truncated. We don't talk about the whole peers part. Yeah, it's West Virginia. Exactly. Probably none. Criminal justice reform. Criminal justice reform to what? You know what I'm saying? 1 count of second-degree murder and 1 count of using a firearm during the commission of the felony. That's what he got found guilty for. Judge Kenneth Ballard said at this sentencing that he only granted mercy because it was mandated by state law, per the station. Don't the judges have the ability to kind of customize the sentencing? They take the recommendation from the prosecutor, but then ultimately they issue it, right? So for some reason in this case, the judge, despite the fact that the judge is the voice of justice, said that, he fell victim to a mandate. Well, I have to grant the mercy law. Okay. You murdered your entire family in cold blood, Mr. Smith, Ballard said. You devised a plan to kill your family days and weeks in advance for the selfish reason of spending time with your girlfriend. So he killed his family over his girlfriend. Man, she must have put it on him like the Kardashians be working it. Make you do some crazy stuff like that. Oh my God. Oh, I love you so much. I don't even need my family anymore. Really? Hey, if it's that good, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, man. You know those strong drugs like crack? I bet you that's a hell of a good time. It's just not a good time when it becomes your permanent state. So maybe like don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like some things are not meant to be done. So don't do that. I don't understand how you could be motivated to annihilate your entire family because you want to spend some time with your girlfriend. I want to Netflix and chill with my girlfriend, and it's time for me to eat Brussels sprouts and mashed potatoes. I'm gonna off everybody. I can't rationalize that. Possibly because of my low IQ. Regardless what the actual reason is, I can't rationalize it. Can you guys? Can you guys rationalize it? Can you ever think to a point of where you wanted to spend so much time with your significant other that you wanted to just off everybody in the immediate vicinity? That's what he must have been sitting around. You know, they like to blame this kind of stuff on rap music. He's probably listening to some Jay-Z, listening to some Reasonable Doubt, which is one of the reasons why the police picked your ass up, because they had reasonable doubt that you was a psycho and killed your whole damn family. But you was in there listening to reasonable doubt, talking about, if I can't, what did he say? If my situation ain't improving, I'm trying to murder everything moving. It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. If I can't Netflix, you get killed. I want my girlfriend, you get killed. If I don't get none, blood gets spilled. It's a hard knock life. No, that's not how you do that. But that's how this guy did it. You know what I'm saying? That's how this fella here did it. You know what I'm saying? In My Lifetime, Volume 1. Your lifetime is going to be defined by, at the very least, 15 years hard time, bruh. For WOWC. WOWC. White on white crime. Mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Man, that's bad business, man. That's not how you do that. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You don't do Netflix and kill. It's not how it's supposed to be. These editors got to make sure they start writing things properly so people don't go off and do something dumb. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, I haven't never had any I've never had any of that, Don P. But I believe you though. That's why I say stay away from it, man. Try to, you know what I'm saying? People should be able to peep that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never done that. I ain't never dealt with that. I ain't never had no Wizard of Oz. You know what I'm saying? Never had it. Hopefully I don't never have it. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just like the Omicron variant. Hope that shit like the Omicron variant. Hopefully I'll never have it. You know what I'm saying? Look, Jared, if he was listening to Redman, he'd be like, how high? High enough to touch the sky. How sick. So sick that I could kill my bitch. You know what I'm saying? You executed your mother and your stepfather by shooting them in the head while they were asleep. He went and killed them while they were asleep. Then you executed your two brothers by shooting them in the head, the youngest of which was hiding under his crib, man. Why would you do this? Your actions can only be described as an act of pure evil, But because of the protections in place in this country, in an Appalachian state like West Virginia, we will grant you mercy. Man, that's tough. You know what I'm saying? Smith was 16 when he committed the murders in December of 2020. A family member found the victim shot dead at their homes in Elkview, and it was reported by WBOY TV. That's interesting. W Boy TV. Is that an acronym for White Boy TV? I don't know. I never seen that channel. Never watched it. Just asking. Just asking a question. You know what I'm saying? Smith was indicted for the murders last June, the station added. His girlfriend at the time, Rebecca Walker, also pleaded guilty. So she got sentenced too, but they ain't saying nothing about her. As an adult, to 4 counts of accessory after the fact to first-degree murder, and was sentenced to 10 years in prison in September of 2021. She said, "Oh shit, babe, there's blood all over the fucking place." What are we gonna do? What you gonna do is some damn times. That's what y'all about to do. At Tuesday's sentencing, Daniel Long's father spoke about his grief following his family member's death. Now, you know what's crazy? You want to know some crazy stuff about these people? You want to know how unaccountable and crazy they are? They'll watch my video and be like, oh, you're so disrespectful. Oh my God, you're so disrespectful. Like 50 Cent, you're so disrespectful. I didn't kill nobody, though. Not only did I not kill anybody, I warned people about the devices in society that allow people to not only be radicalized like this, but to do stuff like this. And you mad at me? You mad about some jokes? I think it's a joke that you mad about jokes. I would be more mad that you live in a system that facilitated the ease of deletion of an entire family. That's what I would be mad about. I've never expected my life to be in such turmoil at this stage, Doug Long said. No one knows what life brings, and the situation surrounding this horrific murder was unimaginable. Nothing could prepare me for the sorrow and hurt inflicted on me by my family by this incident. It is my opinion that his sentence should be harsh and severe, severed to the maximum while allowed by the law, continued Long. Human life is a gift from God, our creator, and he and only he has a right to give life and end it. I don't know about all that, but I know one thing: don't no 3-year-old deserve to be killed execution style hiding under a damn crib. I know that. That I do know. You know what I'm saying? So now, how come you don't hear the mainstream media talking about that story and talking about the tragedy of familicide that plagues America and what we will do about it? What are we going to do about all these violent crime areas here in the United States? What are we going to do about people that look like this? You know what I'm saying? This dude looked like he just came from a damn cross burning. I don't know. I haven't read the story yet, but he might have possibly burnt up his family. Missouri man deleted his wife, deleted his in-laws, and he did it because they wouldn't leave his home. Over my dead body. Now it's over all these people's dead bodies. Now this dude right here finna serve 3 consecutive terms of life in prison without the possibility of parole. He looked like Kevin Nash. You know what I'm saying? The Big Show. This never happens though, right? These are the crimes that don't happen because remember, how can these crimes happen if it's us that commits all the crime? We commit all the crime. As a matter of fact, these people can't stand us. We commit so much crime that our crimes that we commit against each other somehow outrage these people. Carlton said he looked crazy. They should have got him to play Wolverine. He could at least play Sabretooth. He actually looked like he could be Sabretooth. Shout out to Jay Bird. What up with it, Jay? That cat could definitely be saber-toothed. But my question is, if we commit all the crimes, then who's doing this? And if there's a war against the PC, then what are they doing to address this? Because these are casualties of war. Yeah, he looked like Duck Dynasty's last violent relative. Facts. Black Queen Genius said, I have bad in-laws and they will try to drive you to do something like that. I believe it. Look at that. Look at that. What is he wearing? A life raft or something? Like, bro, what was you doing? A Missouri man will spend the rest of his life in prison after authorities say that he deleted his wife and her parents after his in-laws refused to leave his home. Jesse Hoy had previously pleaded guilty to deleting his wife, 48-year-old Tanya Hoy, and her parents, 71-year-old Ronald Kohler and 78-year-old Linda Kohler, in March of 2021. He was convicted on 3 counts of first-degree murder. On Friday, a judge handed down the strictest sentence possible. Now, that's interesting, right? You see, when it comes to them deleting each other, they try to act as if they're upholding some form of justice. I'm going to give him the strictest sentence ever. How dare you harm another good white person when you all are the ones that facilitate the environment for people to do this kind of stuff anyway? What you talking about? Give yourself a sentence. You know what I'm saying? Faith Enlightened said he looks like a serial killer in the middle of the woods or the mountains. Facts. Hoy will serve 3 consecutive terms of life in prison without the possibility of parole. According to online court documents viewed by People, Hoy told police investigators that his wife's parents had come to help her recover from back surgery. As the visit dragged on, Hoy began to grow tired and impatient with having them in the house. I'm sick of this. You know what I'm saying? I felt intruded on. I felt disrespected, Hoy allegedly told detectives. The Associated Press reports. I went outside and got my gun and I just shot all 3 victims in under a minute. So this dude said this. He testified to doing this on his own. Well, what happened, sir? What'd you end up doing? I went outside and I got my gun and I shot all 3 of those fuckers in under a minute. And now I'm here. All 3 victims were shot in the head as they sat at the kitchen table. So he had them all lined up. Sit down and eat some cereal. You know what I'm saying? Then came up behind them. Pop, pop, pop. Like, what? Killed their asses execution style. The same way that 18-year-old boy killed his family, execution style. Execution double 9 style. Steadily putting them families underground. Hey, execution double 9 style. Steadily putting them bodies underground. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. They out here bone thugging it up, man. They out here bone thugging in harmony. Ouija, are you with me? Mo murder me now. Like, stop. You know what I'm saying? It's terrible. You know what I'm saying? They were all shot in the head as they sat at the kitchen table. Man, that is horrible. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, East 1999, Eternal was a classic. Super facts. Saying? Yeah, this is the genocide that they don't talk about. Somebody pop in that East 1999, Eternal. Me killer, me killer, me killer. Fuck my mama, get up, get up, get up. My dad about to be dead. Gonna bullet in the head. In the kitchen floor, nothing but red. That's terrible, man. Damn. Like, don't do that, man. After he shot his family members, Hoy allegedly called 911 and reported the murders. 911, fire or emergency. I went to the kitchen, got my gun, shot all three of these people. I need you guys to come clean it up right now. And if you don't hurry up, I'm going to call the manager. That's probably how he called, too, all aggressive and shit. 911 dispatch was probably confused, like, are you, what? Yeah, that's right. I did it. I killed them all. The 911 dispatcher asked Hoy, why'd he do it? Hey, before you hang up, hey, hold on. Before you hang up, what? Why'd you do it? Well, I told them to get out, and they wouldn't leave. I've been waiting a week for them to leave, and I've had enough, so they just need to leave the planet instead. Hoy then told the dispatcher that he wouldn't resist when the deputies came to arrest him. That motherfucker started doing that no surrender shit. No surrender. He got that gun and went to the kitchen like Busy Bone. My nigga just handle your business. So can I get a witness? Oh man. He said, my nigga, my nigga just handle your business. So can I get a witness? I'll get that gun and pump. Oh man. Stop listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony, man. That shit ain't built for everybody. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't built for everybody. According to the court testimony, Hoy responded by saying that they wouldn't leave. I've been waiting for a week for them to leave, and I'd had enough. Hoy then told the dispatcher that he wouldn't resist when the deputies arrested him. Hoy, who is now 50, was supposed to face trial in October. Moments before the opening argument, he changed his plea to guilty. He was remanded to jail until his former sentencing. So he wasted all the taxpayer money. Attorneys for Hoy say they have no intention to appeal his conviction. So there's that, right? This is another crime that you won't hear about on TV. But one thing that we have to do, right? One thing that we need to do. The one thing that we need to do is make sure that we worry about Chicago. I mean, because, if Black lives really matter, right? Right? Well, right? And Black lives really matter. Why are there so many articles about this kind of stuff? Is the question. Because this never happens, right? Because remember, we're the only ones that commit crime. Well, if Black lives really matter, then why is Susan Smith in prison for deleting her 2 kids? And she's no longer corresponding with her long-distance booty call. Look at this right here. Susan Smith had been writing letters to a man. So even in prison, you can find love. You know what I'm saying? But the communication has now stopped. It's over, a family member tells People. So she broke up with her boyfriend. People magazine decided to write an article about it. I don't know how she planned on building a life with this person. You know what I'm saying? She's going to be in prison for a long time. And why would you want to build a life with somebody that's out here killing folks? She ain't going to do nothing but take the life that you built. Susan Smith is the notorious South Carolina mother who deleted her 2 sons in 1994. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Why is she not a household name? Have you all ever talked about Susan Smith in your house? If you've ever talked about Susan Smith in your home, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you guys have not ever talked about Susan Smith or her 2 sons in your home, then give me a thumbs down. I've never talked about the woman. I had no idea she existed until today. You'll be happy to know and safe to know that after deleting her 2 sons in 1994, she will be eligible for parole in late 2024. But she won't be with her long-distance boyfriend if she gets out of prison. Last year, Smith, who is 51, began corresponding with a divorced man in his 40s. There's always a simp. I love you so much. I believe you that you're innocent. Man, I swear, man, people will literally do anything. They'll do anything. Women don't know, man. Women don't know. Women got the whole world tricking and they don't even know. He can't even get to this. You know what I'm saying? You got to get through maximum security to rip these draws off, and you still sending the letters. Just waiting on that anticipation. Oh my God, goody, goody, goody. Rubbing my hands together like baby. Ooh, I can't wait till them jail bars release and she come out. She gonna kill you too. Oh, shout out to Torian Rain. Torian says Susan Smith was in his White History Month series way back then. Okay, that's what's good. And she, look at that. She blamed 2 black men for the murders. Ain't that something? They did it. Now, here's the question, right? This WS doesn't exist, and none of these people are prejudiced. Why would she blame 2 black men for this crime if she did it? Shout out to Black Bitcoin Key. What up with it, bro? People reviewed 2 of the letters in which she wrote, "We're going to have amazing chemistry in person. I can't wait to build a life with you. Leave the past mistakes behind and start fresh, just you and me. But that meeting will never come." Yeah, that fizzled out. A Smith family member says to people, they are no longer corresponding. So that's her right there. And you see this woman right here, she, according to Torian and his coverage that he did on a story involving her, she blamed 2 black men for the crime. Why would they do that? Why would they do it? Oh my God! Do you see Tyrone and Demetrius over there? Oh my God! I think they did it. They did it. They killed my sons. Ma'am, your fingernails are broken and looks like you have some blood and skin residue. Do you mind if we take a sample? I need to talk to your supervisor. Why would she blame some black men? One of the reasons why she would blame black men is because society has set up systems in place to make it always believable to believe a black man. If a black man did something, it's always believable. Black man stole my purse. I believe it. Black man looked at me funny. I believe it. Black man touched me. I believe it. It's very easy to believe this kind of stuff. Now, what that does is that psychologically provides cover and already makes up the minds of the public appeal before a court trial even happens. You see, these are familicides. You know what I'm saying? These are familicides. These are people deleting their own family. And if you look at the demographic of the people that delete their own families, it's not black people. But the propaganda and the brainwashing and the negligence of the general population at large is so entrenched that somebody could just say, oh my God, everybody in my family's dead. That black guy must have done it. And then you look at the statistics on who commits familicide, but you'll look right past it and actually believe that the black person did it because of who said that they did it. What would give this woman here the inclination to believe that 2 black people did it? To put that out there. So what that does is that actually solidifies why there's a propaganda war against black people, to set up the mental constructs to make it where in most people's mind they can come up with a false equivalency of where if a crime is committed, in most likely cases, it was a black person that did it. This makes the police job a lot easier. This makes the population at large's conscience a lot easier to rest on. And it also makes it look like you're being productive in solving crimes when you're not. So we have to counter these things. And if people say that it's a war on white males or it's a war on masculinity, you can say what you want. I guess it's just a war then. I guess that's just what it is. But if they say that this would be a war, then what it will be is it's a war to maintain privilege, which means that you can't allow somebody else to be at a higher position than you, or you can't allow somebody to exploit your lies. So we have to counter this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Smith is one of the most notorious prisoners in South Carolina history. On October 25th, 1994, Smith, who was 23, told police that she had been carjacked by a black man who had taken off with her two young sons still in the car. Now, think about this, right? This is where white supremacy demolishes itself. I need to clip this part, and we're going to call it white supremacy obliterates white supremacy. And I'm going to put Mark Dice's face on it. According to white supremacists and some black people, black men don't even like to take care of their own children. How many times have you guys heard these people say that? You think somebody gonna carjack your car and pick up an extra two kids when motherfuckers got whole videos out here about not dating single moms because they don't want to deal with the baggage of a kid, and y'all perpetuating this issue that we ain't shit as fathers anyway, so ain't nobody about to steal no extra kid? But you're sitting here against your own propaganda saying that some black man stole your hoopty and stole your kids. When according to your propaganda, black men don't even fuck with their own kids. So why would a black man want some extra kids? And now, mind you, this isn't me saying that. This is me using white media logic. Shout out to you, Law. What up with it, bro? But because there's no standards, because there's no fact check, and all it is a bunch of people winding up their backs and repeating everything, they actually believed it. Not one white person stood up and said, well, you know what? Those darkies don't even take care of their own kids. So, I mean, it's highly unlikely that he would steal yours. All of a sudden, black men are the best fathers ever. And we just about to go around here and steal everybody's kids. So hide your kids, hide your wife. I mean, when it comes to the single parent household, when it comes to the fatherless families, right? If you listen to the white mainstream media, black men have a allergic reaction to children. If you listen to some of the not mainstream media content, if you listen to some of the people that actually look and sound like us, they'll tell you the same thing. That wasn't a warning flag that this was a lie, according to your own propaganda? Because remember, it's not me that pushed that narrative. So even when their own propaganda doesn't work, it doesn't matter. What sounds better is the law for the day. Every other day, we'll talk about how black men have an anaphylactic reaction to children until it suits a narrative that a black man carjacked a white woman and took her kids. Then all of a sudden, it was a black man that took the kids. So now you have to ask yourself the question, if that's what the media does, as well as what the population at large does, how is it that you can trust the media? Yeah, that's facts. And they all facts D, facts Don P. And another thing is that they also benefit from affirmative action the most. But that's another thing that's not talked about. They're the face of wanting to cancel affirmative action. At the same time, they're the face of the beneficiaries of affirmative action. So make that make sense. But again, you should never try to make anything make sense because it's designed to not make sense. It's the entire thing, the entire system, the entire everything they do is only designed to provide cover. It's not provided to act, it's not designed to actually provide rational explanations. It's designed to repeat narratives and provide cover. It's an extortion racket. No more, no less. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says for 9 days, she made tearful pleas on national television for her safe return. How did she get a platform to go on national television? Please, oh, please, to the black men that took my 2 children. Oh, please, if you black people would just give my kids back. Yo, I think this is a woke crime. This is white feminism right here. The ultimate goal of white feminism is I'm white and I say so through care and tears, regardless of what that I'm white and I say so may be. So here goes some feminist shit. And feminism, as it started with all those feminists, they were all white supremacists, every single one of them. But now, in the days where woke means LGBTQ, they've also repackaged the word feminist and put a black face on it. So they've successfully converted black women into the face of feminism. Just like how they've converted LGBTQ into woke. Again, the lack of accountability, there's a pattern to it. And what people need to start doing is focusing the magnifying glass where the sunlight is and aiming that beam on the accountability. Oh, but it was all a lie. Standalone sentence right here. It was all a lie. Her story began to unravel. Smith admitted that there was a carjacker and that she had let her car roll into a lake with Michael, who is 3, and Alex, who is 14 months, still strapped into their car seat. Who would do it? That's the question. How many mothers do we have in the chat? If you're a mother, give me a thumbs up. If you're not a mother, give me a thumbs down. Let me ask you guys a question. If you had a rough day, would you strap your kids into a car seat where they couldn't get out of it and roll your car into the lake where your kids would drown? Would you do it to your kids? Probably not. Something not natural about that. As the story began to unravel, she admitted that there was no carjacker and that she had let her car roll into a lake with Michael, who is 3, and Alex, who is 14 months, and still strapped into their car seats. Now, if you sit there and listen to Tucker Carlson, if you sit there and listen to replacement theory says that these people aren't having enough children. Now, if you're not having enough children, then why would you go drown both of your kids? But there's no accountability for this. You get to act like you don't have shit on your damn hands and go ahead and lick your fingers. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that the media doesn't put a focus on is the cultural element of her saying that she had been carjacked by a black man. Because let's not shout out to Tori and Rain for the Black Massacre series, but a lot of the Black Massacres end up because somebody said that a black person did something. In most cases, a PC female. You know what I'm saying? So she took the great American cultural element of blaming a black man because, again, that's just as American as baseball and hot dogs. That was the point, Hunting Edge. The point was that they didn't know to get out of the car seat. The point is that this woman exterminated her own family. That's the point. And the point is that burns a lot of people. And the other point is that the world is correct. You know what I'm saying? So now this is her motive. She was secretly dating a man who didn't want to have children. So she did this over some dick. These are the kind of decisions motherfuckers make over dick. 2 casualties because of dick. The story became international news, even landing her on the cover of People. Smith was convicted of 2 counts of murder and is serving a life sentence at Leith Correctional Institution in Greenwood, South Carolina. Smith's time behind bars has been fraught with disciplinary actions, including illicit drug use, self-mutilation, and sexual contact with a guard. So she got to jail and was busting it open. Yeah, I agree, Hunting Edge. Torian said this sounds like an episode of For My Man, but with PC people. Facts. Tatiana Ali, right? But Smith claimed that she'd been misunderstood. See, she's been misunderstood. What it is that you people are so dumb, you don't understand what she was doing. It's always like that. We're always the dumb ones. You know what I'm saying? You just didn't understand me. Of course we didn't. Right. Because you're so smart and we're so damn dumb. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, use your damn thumb and smash that like button. In 2015, Smith wrote a letter to the state. I'm not the monster society thinks I am, she wrote. I'm far from it. Society doesn't even think she's a monster. She could get out of jail and be a successful person immediately upon leaving jail. And that's what the privilege does. That's what the privilege does. Something went very wrong that night. Yeah. Like driving a car with your kid strapped into it, into a body of water. That's what went wrong. And the fact that you chose to do that. I was not myself, she continued. Yeah, you were. You were yourself. Here's the news flash, lady. You were yourself. What are you talking about? You weren't yourself. She continued, I was a good mother and I loved my boys. No good mother kills their children. Like, literally nobody does that. You know what I'm saying? A good mother will put themselves in the face of danger before they allow harm to come to their kids, let alone facilitating the harm that goes to the kids. Ain't nobody doing that. There was no motive, and it was not even a planned event. I was not in my right mind. So there you go. Typical talking point. Typical excuse. Look at that. Even on the picture, they had a merciful picture of her. Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, my God. What are you talking about? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You did it. Shout out to Black Manta. What's up with it, bro? Bro, drive safe. Yeah, man. Facts, Torian. Where's the Lifetime movie? Surviving Susan Smith. Surviving Susan Smith. Super facts. Now that's the question. Why is this not called white on white crime? That's the question. Well, I'll tell you why it's not called white on white crime. Because we commit all the crimes. Duh. I mean, literally, not only did we create criminality, we commit all the crimes. You know what I'm saying? Smith's ex-husband and the father of the boys told People in 2010 that he never fully recovered from the pain. There's always this nagging and gnawing headache, David Smith said. It's there every day, even if I'm not conscious of it. For the last few years, Smith has been behaving herself in hopes that she will be paroled in November of 2024. In her prison letters to her boyfriend, she expressed a desire to settle down and find true happiness on the outside. I don't think she's got a snowball chance in hell of getting paroled in 2024, the family member tells People. I think he realized that too. She's exactly where she needs to be. Well, I actually think she's got a good chance of being paroled, and we'll see what happens. It might not be in 2024, but it'll probably happen. Now, let me ask you guys a question. It's not a race issue. It absolutely is a race issue. If white people committing familicide against their own families isn't a race issue, then don't ever utter the words black on black crime in your life ever again. Because if that's the case, then black on black crime isn't a race issue either. So why do you people bring race into it? And if it's not a race thing, then why do white males in their 30 delete their family at the highest rates? You clearly have hate in your heart. No, I clearly have statistics on my screen. That's what I have. What you have is delusions in your brain. You have delusions of a false moral standard for yourself. And I'm here to instruct you about how correct the world is. You're not moral. Why do you people commit the most crimes? Why do you people kill your families the most? There's been multiple videos talking about why black people commit so many crimes. Why do you people off your own families? Why do your sons and daughters kill their parents? That's the question. Why do you all off yourselves, your families? Why do you kill your mothers? Why do you kill your fathers? Why do you do that? Where's your morals? Where's your ethics? I thought you people went around to civilize the entire world and you can't even stop killing your own families like this. Missouri man who fatally shot, then buried the bodies of his grandparents, sisters, and 3 months old gets 4 life terms. Why? Why? Why is that the face of family murder and annihilation? You're stupid, bro. It shows. What do you guys always say? The first person to call names and get emotional is the person that lost the argument. Do your family a favor and move as far away from them as they can so they can live longer, because clearly when people like you stay in vicinity of your family, they end up deleted. So you might want to take my advice. And there's no hate in my heart. Facts ain't racist. If you haven't watched a video that talks about black criminality, I'd suggest you talk about it. I'd suggest you watch a couple videos and then come back, because there's plenty of videos about black criminality, videos that your boy Tucker Carlson made, videos that black people have made. But you know what there's not any videos about? There's not any videos about the Duck Dynasty of Familicide. So go click around on YouTube, go click around on Twitch, go click around on Twitter. And after you've watched all of the content that you're asking me about because it's there, then go watch a couple videos on white familicide. And then you can answer the question of how you find it ethical to kill your own families. Now, you talking about me, I must have hate in my heart. Man, let me ask you a question. If I got hate in my heart, what do you consider it when a white woman straps her children into a car seat and drives the car into the lake? What do you consider that? If you consider this video hatred, what do you consider that? What do you consider that? I consider that your culture, but what do you consider it? No, that's not how it works in our culture. My dad and my mom are still married, never left, and I'm still alive. In your culture, when the dad is still in the house, the kid either goes to school and shoots up the school, or mom, dad, and the kids end up deleted. So do you want to explain to me why you all commit so many crimes? What kind of family values are you talking about when you guys talk about family values? These are good white family values. The family values of familicide. Is this what your masculinity looks like? Nobody said it was your fault. You're being kind of sensitive, bro. I asked you why that's a cultural thing. Clearly, it's not quote unquote your fault, right? Because that was a white woman that killed her kids. She's a statistical outlier. When it comes to the statistics, white males in their 30s kill their families. the most. So why don't you account for why you kill your own families? And let's actually talk about the crimes that black people commit. How many black people kill their own families? How many black people commit sexual crimes against children? Oh, R. Kelly. Oh. R. Kelly's not all black people, dude. So why do you kill your families like that? Hmm? It's not safe growing up in the suburbs, man. It's not safe growing up in the suburbs. I'm having a great day. Oh, you're a racist. You're a racist. You sound woke, Hunter's Edge. You must be one of those liberals. Is that what you are? Are you a liberal? You got a boyfriend? What's his name? I ain't mad at you, bro. What's your boyfriend's name? Is it this guy right here? Is that why you got triggered? Or is that who you see in the mirror? Welcome to your worst nightmare. So now, I must clearly be racist. I must clearly be racist because this man in Missouri decided to delete, then burn the bodies of his grandparents, his sister, and a 3-month-old. And he ended up getting life terms. I must be racist because the statistics say that this type of individual here, a Chad, is the most likely to commit this kind of crime. Let's leave this Yosemite Sam looking dude up on the screen for a little bit. So what I want you guys to understand is you need to pay attention to that troll. You know what I'm saying? This is proof that when it comes to accountability, anytime accountability is called upon, they call you a racist, despite the fact that they're committing white on white crime. Oh, and this guy is also one of those cancel culture people. Dude, we don't have any free speech, dude. We don't have any free speech. Dude. Reported for hateful conduct, dude. I'm out. If you report this live stream for hateful conduct, then what do you call your great grandparents? Oh, man. I don't know why you're trying to run. Y'all ain't athletic, but whatever. I may as well stick around for a good bedtime story. Now, check this out, right? I want you guys to see the fragility. This clown face supremacist claims that he reported my stream, but he didn't report anybody while these bodies was getting burnt up. You didn't report when that smoke was blazing in the air and those cinders was going crackle, snap, pop. You didn't do none of that. When that gun was going off and people's brains was splattering and running down the walls, you didn't do a damn thing. Jared says somebody get this dude a pacifier. Why? So he could pull down his underwear and stick it in his other mouth? Because he's a woke. You know what I'm saying? Graydon Lane Denham, who is 30, was convicted in December for the 2016 rampage and brought to trial only after delays to assess his mental health. Because anytime they do something wrong, they never are guilty of it. It's because wires got crossed. Duh. Yeah, he's definitely butthurt. That's probably why he's gonna stick the pacifier in his two-hole. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know which ass he's gonna stick it in. The one in his pants or the one on his face. A Missouri man who fatally shot and then burned the bodies of 4 family members, including a 3-month-old baby, will spend the rest of his life in prison. All right, now everybody, let's sit and ooh and ah for 10 minutes about how degenerate this is. Man, we took 400 years. These guys can't even take 4 minutes. These guys can't even take 4 minutes. Graydon Lane Denham, who is 30, was sentenced Thursday to 4 terms of life in prison without the possibility of parole plus 115 years. Plate County prosecutor Eric Zahn said in a statement that was shared with People. The sentencing followed Denham's conviction in December for the February 2016 rampage, reports News Press Now. Firefighters responding to reports of a structural fire at the rural Edgerton residence that Denham shared with his grandparents. So not only he shared this residence. Why do these people that live with their parents always do all this shit? Bobby Cremo from Chicago lived with his parents, and he went to that 4th of July parade and shot it all up. Dude, you must be stupid, dude. You must be a racist, dude. So if I'm stupid and I'm a racist, then what is the white media when they talk about black on black crime? You see that? And that's why I do what I do. I'm going to show you who you are by acting exactly like you. And then you're going to sit your ass down and realize that the world is correct. Oh my God, I'm just so hurt. I got to report the stream for hate speech. Oh, 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 O'Reilly. Auto parts. Oh, man. That's great. Shirley Denham, who is 81, his sister, Heather, whose age was 32, and Ager's 3-month-old son. Okay. So all these family members were killed and then burned alive, all laying dead in the front yard, according to a probable cause statement. Okay. The body of Denham's grandfather, who is 82-year-old named Russell Denham, was found near a building east of the house. All had been shot and were still on fire, the authorities said. So this dude is mad about my stream. He mad about my stream, but he not mad about these people that got well done. That's too bad. It's too bad. You know, if there's a little bit of accountability in certain communities, I bet you things like this wouldn't happen. Denham was missing from the residence along with his grandmother, Nissan Versa, which he was barred from driving because, wait a minute, hold on. Denham was missing from the residence along with his grandmother's Nissan Versa, which he was barred from driving because his license had been revoked due to point violations and child support enforcements, according to court documents. Oh, child support, huh? You know what that means. According to the white media, if you pay child support or if you're put on child support, oh, no, naughty, naughty, naughty. I'm saying, naughty, naughty, naughty. So that must be a mistake. There must be an error. Now, another thing I want you guys to pay very close attention, right? And that's the reason why, like, I like trolls. I want them to come here because notice when you talk about a pattern within their culture, all of a sudden it's not a race thing. He said this pattern is not a race thing, right? But his rebuttal was to bring up black on black crime. So if it's not a race thing when white people kill white people, then why is it a race thing when black people kill black people? You see how that works? The thing is that these people have the expectation of being allowed to troll unchallenged. And all you got to do is just stand up and it's over before it even started. They run home with their tails between their legs, crying like a little bitch every single time. I don't know if for whatever reason, the world has been tough and, people may not have the necessary amount of confidence. You know what I mean? But people need to have confidence because it's not that hard. None of the arguments are intelligible. None of these people are intelligent. And you saw what happened when that rat ran away. It's the same thing that they had going on in Torian's comment section. One of the trolls in Torian's comment section said, "No one debunked any point that Mark Dice made." I said, Mark Dice said that a group of people runs Hollywood. But what Mark Dice didn't say is that group of people that runs Hollywood are European, like Mark Dice. The rebuttal to that was, well, ask a J if they think that they're white. Well, we've seen multiple videos, especially with the elderly J man on Professor Black Truth's video, talking about how they thought that they were honorary whites, for one. And for two, we live in a time where you can have a dick and say that you're a woman. So, for that logic, if you want to tell me to ask a J what they think they are, you're the same person that doesn't accept that a trans person is a woman. So I'm supposed to use that logic for the J's, but it's woke when it's used for LGBTQ logic. All of your logic is stupid because you're all idiots and you need a system in order to make what you say reality and a bunch of false studies to substantiate it. But you don't even need studies to debunk this idiocy because they can't even connect two logical points. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Faith for answering the Nightbot, and shout out to you, Law, for and DSB also for answering the Nightbot. So this is what I'm saying to people, man. Never back down. Never ever back down. There's no need to. Like I always tell people, if you have history on your side, which we all do, you're always in the right when it comes to any of these kind of debates. You just have to make sure that you have your information correct and that you're organized and that you're articulate with your delivery. And when you deliver it, make sure that you deliver it like it's a dart that's got ricin on it. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says a multi-state manhunt led Denham being found wandering naked in an Arizona desert with the vehicle he was accused of stealing parked at a nearby hotel, Fox 4KC says. So now this dude executed his entire family and now he's walking around in his birthday suit. Yeah, basically DSB. That's literally it. That's all you got to do. And if that wasn't the case, right? That's one of the reasons why Ron DeSantis is so invested in shutting down free speech. That's one of the reasons why Ron DeSantis is so invested in shutting down free speech, because it's the same as a boxing match. You put Conor McGregor in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, it's only a matter of time before nature takes its course. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to people that perpetuate a culture that spreads monkeypox across the world, we all know how they feel about nature. So that goes without being said. But that's neither here nor there, though, right? I'm not going to talk about monkeypox. Norwegian monkeypox. So now here it says this defendant massacred his entire family, including the dog. And honestly, I hate to say this. Actually, I don't. The dog is probably him massacring the dog. That's probably what did it as far as this stringent sentence that he got. The family members, we give you 4 to 5 years. You kill the dog, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? You done stepped over the line. Now, when you're dealing with this criminal justice system here in the United States, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to this criminal justice system here in the United States, now you done killed the dog. Now you really in trouble. You done messed up now. You know what I'm saying? He shot each of them, including his 3-month-old nephew, in the head and then buried their bodies. Again, execution style, just like we read in the other videos. These were shocking and gruesome murders of a loving family. Well, clearly it wasn't that loving if you know what I'm saying, one of them shot somebody in the head. So pay very close attention to how they try to take the degenerate aspect out of this. There's no degenerate aspect. Well, this is a loving family. It was so loving that they just killed everybody. Like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Witnesses at the Denham's trial testified to rising tensions within the family, including an argument the previous day between Denham and his grandfather, who, remember, was 82 years old, and also to Denham's use of methamphetamine. Well, clearly he had a disease, right? Black people use crack, you're a criminal. These people use methamphetamine. Well, it must be a disease, I'll say. It was a disease. The addiction is a problem. It's an American problem. Okay, well, if diseases, right? Diseases are hereditary. But this isn't a culture discussion. This isn't a race discussion, right? Diseases are hereditary. If you have a parent that's an alcoholic, or if you have two parents that are alcoholics, it's likely that you'll be an alcoholic. So now, are we going to talk about race in terms of it being a quote unquote passed down animal instinct, or are we going to talk about race as a part of psychology? And even when it comes to psychology, psychological disorders are also passed down genetically. So I find that fascinating. You can be prone to addiction as a result of family history, right? But let's just not talk about the family unless we're talking about black people. If we're talking about black people, then we can talk about the family. But what we're going to do is talk about breaking and entering. We're not going to talk about drug or alcohol use. You see how that works? You see how that works? Well, it's addiction. It's a disease, I'll say. You need to be treated by a nurse and get dosed for some methadone, you see. Oh, don't you need to dose some people that smoke crack for methadone? No, they need to do jail time. This is a false equivalency, and you don't have to stand down because of a commonly accepted false equivalency. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever do that. If something is untrue, always stand behind your truth. You know what I'm saying? Always stand behind your truth. So now here it says a judge in 2020 ruled that Denham was not mentally fit to stand trial. Imagine that. And was condemned to the care of the state's Department of Mental Health. Now, he chose to do that methamphetamine and he was mentally competent enough to re-up on some drugs. How often do you see the mental competency excuse being used for black people. When there's a black person like Kanye West who actually has a mental health disorder, that excuse isn't even used. And this dude not only probably caused his own mental health disorder by using methamphetamine, but he then went and committed a violent act. And like every other time, it's just okay. But subsequent evaluations concluded that he was indeed competent to aid his own defense, reports Fox 4KC. Denham has a history of mental health issues, his defense attorney, Patrick Berrigan, said in court. Assistant prosecutor Mark Gibson countered that any changes in Durham's behavior or character at the time of the murder were likely to result in his drug use, News Press Now reported. Denham was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree murder, 4 counts of armed criminal action, second-degree arson, animal abuse, and stealing a motor vehicle. During his trial, Denham's girlfriend testified that one of his favorite movies was The Boondock Saints, in which killers place pennies on the eyes of their victims after killing them. At the Plate County crime scene, each of the victims, including the dog, were found with pennies near their eyes, reports the Landmark. I believe this is the only quadruple homicide in Platte County history, Zan said. We can pray it is the last, but it's right and just that the man responsible will die in prison for his horrific crimes. So this guy not only was a meth head, but he also copied a movie. And movies are a reflection of culture. But remember that troll was big triggered. That troll was big triggered because we were talking about his culture. Now, this troll was triggered because we were talking about him the way that they talk about us. But then what did he do? He got mad and reverted to white media talking points instead of actually answering the questions that he was being asked. Why do you people murk your own families so much? Since when do you answer a question with a question? How many people love their mothers? If you guys love your mother, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you don't love your mother, give me a thumbs down. Probably all of the trolls will put they don't love their mothers because everybody has one of those quote unquote friends or associates from back in the day that would call their mom the B word right in front of them. And they probably look like this dude right here. Well, this family here is outraged because this Pennsylvania man killed his mother. And then what he did was took selfies with the body, ended up getting a 20-year sentence. The reason why movies like Boondock Saints are made is because they're relatable. But here's the question: relatable to who? You see, that's the question. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, please make sure you guys smash the like button. And I have a stream scheduled for tomorrow also. So make sure you guys stick around at the end of the stream for about a minute, and it'll take you into that next stream. You can hit the bell and get the likes smashed early. All right. You guys wouldn't do anything like this, would you? Family outraged after PA man who was killed or who killed his mother took selfies with body, sentenced to 20 years minimum. Why would you do that? David Sumney told police he had nothing to do with the brutal slaying of his 67-year-old mother in 2019. Then detectives downloaded pictures from his phone. A Pennsylvania man who beat his mother to death in 2019 before dumping her body in her bathtub and taking pictures of himself with her corpse has been sentenced to 20 to 40 years. How come we don't hear about this kind of crime? You know, if we heard about these kind of crimes as often as they occur, I bet you people wouldn't be talking about what we do to each other. Because this is pretty egregious. But remember, we're the only ones that commit crimes. And remember, the population at large, these people, they actually believe that. You know what I'm saying? This is what they stand on. You see, when you're asking them about the crimes that they commit, their default is you people kill each other. Hey, newsflash, all people kill each other. Notice how that all lives matter shit go out the window when it comes to putting the focus on them. You see that? That all lives matter shit goes out the window. Facts, DSB. I could never hurt my mom, ever. Most normal human beings wouldn't. But this one did, which means that he's clearly not normal. Then not only did he kill her, he beat her to death and took selfies. Dude, look what I did to my mom, dude. I mean, what were you gonna do with a selfie of your mother that your degenerate ass deleted? And why would you delete your own damn mom anyway? Like, where's the logic in doing that? Like, why would you do it? You know what I mean? Like, who does that? On Thursday, David Sumney, who is 33 years old of South Fayette, was sentenced 2 months after he pleaded guilty to third-degree murder for killing his mother, Margaret Sumney, the Daily Beast reports. All right, so he killed his mom. As part of a plea deal with Sumney in August, prosecutors dropped more punitive charges of first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse in exchange for his guilty plea. Trib Live reports. A first-degree murder conviction would have left him facing life in prison without parole, CBS News Pittsburgh reports. He could be released from prison in 17 years since he has been held behind bars since his arrest on September 4th of 2019, the Daily Beast reports. His mother's family is outraged at the plea deal he made and the sentence he received, the Daily Beast and CBS Pittsburgh report. So now my question is, why is it that we never hear about this? It must not be important. Now, again, that's not me saying that this isn't important. That's the lack of media coverage, right? Because as you can see, these people are really sensitive and they come in like beasts, upset. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what you're upset about. If you're upset, what you should be doing is talking to People magazine because they're the ones that reported this. You should also be talking about that court system that decided to send this guy to jail. You know what I'm saying? They can't take any accountability. They'll skirt the fact that this dude murked his own mom and called his stream woke because of cowardice. That's what we got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? He could be released from prison in 17 years since he has been held behind bars since his arrest on September 4th of 2019, the Daily Beast reports. His mother's family is outraged at the plea deal he made and the sentence he received, the Daily Beast and CBS Pittsburgh reports. Called by prosecutors to speak in front of the court, Margaret's older sister, Mary Ellen, called her nephew less than a piece of trash, the Daily Beast reports. She told the courts she wanted him to receive the death penalty. The family's ordeal began August 31st of 2019 when they were unable to reach Margaret at her home in South Fayette, just outside of Pittsburgh. On September 2nd of 2019, police conducted a welfare check at the request of the family and found Margaret's battered, bloodied corpse slumped in a bathtub inside her own townhouse on Old Orchard Drive. She was battered and bloody and slumped in a bathtub outside of her own home. And her son that she birthed did that to her. And for whatever reason, That was not national newsworthy. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Why would this be national newsworthy? Oh, nobody wants to hear about this. You're right, probably. Nobody wants to hear about it. Here's the question. Why doesn't anybody want to hear about it? Officers found the house in chaos with shattered glass on the floor and blood smeared on the walls and furniture. Trib Live reports. Margaret died from blunt force trauma to her neck, head, and torso, the medical examiner ruled. When questioned, David told police he had nothing to do with his mother's death, prosecutors said. But when investigators took a look at his phone, they found scores of pictures of his mother's bloody body that he took starting at 4:50 a.m. on October 30th of 2019. But dude, these crimes have nothing to do with race, dude. It's nothing to do with race, dude. It has crimes have nothing to do with race. But the first thing they bring up is black on black crime. FEE, false equivalence ethics. The fabric of the United States. In between many of the photos, the victim appears in between many of the photos, the victim appears selfies of the defendant in which he is seen with blood smeared on his face, and in one photo giving a thumbs up pose, a prosecutor said in August. Sumni had 277 gross pictures of his mother on his phone and also videotaped himself washing her corpse off in the tub, according to Trib Live. Now, that's interesting that they didn't use that as the headline. That's interesting that they didn't use that as the headline. He was washing his mother up in the tub. You know what I'm saying? On Thursday, in court, David expressed remorse for killing his mother. Half-sister Ellen told the court that means nothing to her and her family, considering what he did to their mother. You broke her back, she said. The Daily Beast reports, you paralyzed our mother, and then you just beat her and beat her. The blood was splattered among the walls. But I think the sickest part is the pictures, the 277 pictures. You only take pictures if you want to go back and see what you did. And again, that's part of the culture as well. That's like what the hunters do, taking part of what it is that they kill or whatever it is that they conquer. He looks at this as a conquer. He conquered his mom, and he's going to take a piece of it for a souvenir. Souvenir culture. That's one of the reasons why when you go somewhere, you get a souvenir. Again, it's a cultural thing, but we'll normalize it through institutions like vacations. Take a piece of what I got when I went here. You know what I'm saying? Just like how I'll take a piece of Mexico and set up Taco Bell and call it tacos. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we do that. Call it a day. David, she gave you everything she had. And when she didn't have anything else to give, you killed her, she added. I had no idea you were this kind of monster. I mean, well, you know what they say about the tools getting broken. So his mom was operating as a tool. And then when she didn't have no more use, he broke his mom. And I'm still upset you were not prosecuted to the fullest. This was first-degree murder. Well, you should have never expected him to get prosecuted to the fullest. Because when you look at the world and who runs the world and the criminal justice system and what the criminal justice system is put in place for, that guy there who deleted his mom is under the protection of that court system. So instead of being disappointed that he didn't get penalized to the fullest extent for murking your mother, what you should have done is realize that the world is correct. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers. Make sure you guys drop some comments at the end of the stream, and I will catch you all tomorrow on the next stream. And it'll be at 12:55 p.m. Eastern, or 12:55 a.m. Eastern time. All right, peace.